Alright G, let's further review this stage of splining that is going on. Very fearful, very dangerous stage for the first time, at least when you are coming from blocking plus to splining. It's scary. It looks like that we are in a mud and we are drowning. Alright, let's play it. We had shared some comments last time and you have tried to improve that. We are basically working on the pelvis and the legs, and we are not much concerned about the overlaps of upper portion. So with that thing in mind, let's play it. Alright, basically it was a person coming and he's struck by something on his head and he just gets imbalanced, almost faints and falls down. Okay, let's play it once again. Okay, comparing with the last submission which we reviewed and mentioned many points, this definitely looks better. Many things are under control. Last time we discussed that we should understand that this is not a random movement which we are trying to match from our body video or from the poses that we drew on the paper. We'll have to understand that what is the meaning of the overall movement, and we try to simplify by understanding that basically when the person is struck on head, that imbalances towards his right, and when a person imbalances, basically his weight, the center of his mass falls to one side, that is outside his feet, and when the person is falling, he tries to save himself by making his feet overtake the body to catch it, right? So this is what we try to understand, that we should understand that what is happening from this pose. The person is falling towards the right and is trying to catch by quick steps, and once the person catches himself here, the body is unable to still hold itself because of that fainting kind of mental situation. So the person is now falling towards the other side. Again his feet tries to overtake and stop him and catch him, and finally the body moves or falls towards the right, which the feet are unable to catch, and he ultimately falls. Okay, now let's play with these things in mind. Let's go step by step. Let's first discuss the very first fall, when he falls towards right and catches with his feet. Okay, let's play this much only, or about 70 frames. It's better than before. At least there is some fall, but what I feel is still at the point where he catches his body, there could be more cushioning, maybe more slow in, slow out, slight more hold. Maybe feel that there was weight and it has been caught and then it is getting released from there. So what I mean is, fine, it is falling towards the right side. It could have been cushioned here slightly better. Let's review this section frame by frame. Okay, fine, it has walked. Okay, let's see, it has walked and it has been struck by something. Now his left foot gets raised. It's slightly odd when left foot is raised. At that point the weight is also shifting towards left. Slightly odd. You understand, no? When you lift a leg or foot, the weight shifts to the other side. So here it's slightly odd. Why the weight is shifting towards the left and the left foot is rising at that point. Anyways, that can be solved easily. You know that. Then what happens? All right, his left foot is in place. Now the person is falling on the right side. His body is going to fall on the right side. Okay, fine. It's shifting. What is happening here? The body is shifting. Suddenly, both the feet are out of ground. Why? Here we can understand it is shifting. Now, how can both feet be out of ground without a jump? This is only possible if before this there was some anticipation and the body was throwing itself up, which is not the case. It is just falling. So I've just studied your video also, original video reference, so that I may guide you better, and in that it's clearly indicated what is happening here. What should happen logically also? One foot should take the responsibility of the body when the other foot is off the floor and the other foot places itself further. So maybe here, if you wanted to slide the right foot, if you wanted to slide the right foot, so maybe this foot could have been in place, still in place, and then this gets grounded, then this foot is lifted. Understand, no? So this is some mishappening here. All right. Looking at the pelvis, which is our main concern right now. If we get some good, believable weight movement in pelvis, we are almost done. We will get that confidence. This is the root body on which all upper body is dependent. Okay, not much concern. The major concern is that if we could get maybe a better snap, if you just maybe track, you might have tracked it already. If you track it and rethink, maybe we can get slightly better slow in, like a slightly better snap. So that means that when it's falling, the spacing becomes slightly faster, so that you get time to spend at the end. At this point, you get some frames to spend here where you slow in, right? Maybe this comment you don't follow right away, because there are more major concerns later on. This is just a fine tuning we can do later. Let's first work on the further frames, which I'm going to talk now, which is really faulty. I mean, they are not satisfying. This one is still satisfying to some extent. The only thing here is if I could get a better cushioning, the fall of the character, and then it's slowing in and then slowing out. So it could be possible just by spending some more frames here, when we could get it, as if spring type of thing on the leg. It's cushioning, it's recoiling, right? Going further, now this is the second move. It has caught itself at this corner. Now the body is falling towards his left, and supposedly the feet are trying to take some quick steps to stop the body from falling, and the legs get successful to apply brakes at this point where the foot has really overtaken the body, and body has got that brake, and now the body cannot move further, so body starts falling again towards this. At this point, before this point, the body is falling on that side, on the left of that person, right? If we look just this portion is still not having that snap, that weight kind of thing. It's falling kind of thing. If you play your video, you can clearly see. You might have done everything like frame by frame, you have counted all the extremes and you have made all the poses, but now you will have to feel the gesture of the movement. If you play your blocking class, if you play your video, you will see a gesture, a meaning of the movement. You have to catch that, and you will have to see if it is there in this or not. Switch your eyes, as we have trained ourselves. Switch your eyes and see if is there that gesture present here or not. I'll play it, you will see. There's nothing. Let me play it again. 70 from here to here. Let me play it again. From here to here. We don't still, although the earlier submission there was no there was no rhyme and reason of those frames. Now at least we know that it's falling from his right to his left, and the body is falling and the feet are trying to catch. But still we don't find that continuation, that fall, that snap from this side, from here to here. What we want is, in this movement, what is it? X. In this X movement, we want the graph should be something like slowing out and slowing in kind of thing. Roughly speaking, it's slowing out, going fast, and then slowing in. You want something kind of this kind of thing, also taking care of the details. I'm saying the overall feel should be something like this of the graph. That is something like, if I talk about the spacing, we would like the spacing to be having, it's slowing out, and let me just try this rule of halves and kind of thing. Roughly speaking, it's kind of slow out and slow in, so that we feel a fall, the body increasing the speed of falling. It's like it's falling and then catching, falling and catching, and having good up and down movements. That's a different thing. So it will not be very flat kind of graph like this, but overall you would like to have this kind of spacing. But right now what I see and feel is it's kind of very linear, floaty kind of movement. Don't you see? Just see it. We don't find a continuous fall from one corner to the other and then catching. No such snap. If you watch your what do you call that, blocking plus, you will find there is. If you see your video, you can clearly now know. You should have been watching your video reference while working on this blocking plus as well as your video reference. That gives you, that tunes your eye, that okay, what kind of a reality of nature I am trying to get in this. even the feet, I don't find when you are falling there is a snap kind of thing in feet. You know, when you're falling, you lift a foot and you just smash that foot on the floor. Because you're falling, you are trying to save. The moment you are able to, you know, lift the foot above the place where you want to place it, you just snap that foot down. Here we find the feet also kind of floating. It's kind of floating. Overall, the movement is too floating. Okay, another observation. Just pause it. When it is falling from this corner, moving, if I go frame by frame, you just now observe what I'm going to tell you. If I'm moving from here, when I reach this frame, I almost find that that person has been able to balance his weight, maybe on this also. If I watch this, I find the way it has fallen, you know, the speed at which it has moved to this, I find the person has almost balanced himself. And after that, if I watch this much movement, I don't find a reason why after a person has balanced himself on this leg in the way it has already, why he will just shoot his feet so further. It actually means that before you reach this particular point, we should get a pelvis just falling towards his left. That means on the way, we should not feel that feet have been able to overtake the pelvis to be able to stop the pelvis. So that actually means maybe you could have, you know, not let the foot come here, or maybe you could have delayed the movement of pelvis so that some time is consumed at this extreme, so that you have lesser frames to move towards the left. If you have lesser frame, that means the pelvis will move faster. Right now maybe you had more frames and lesser space to travel, so that is why the pelvis is moving too slow, and we find that it's not falling, it's just moving slowly. And even when the foot has been able to take control, still it's moving slowly. I hope you are getting the overall idea, even if you are not getting my small details. Mainly what we want is, we want a fall kind of feel from this corner to this corner. You're not getting a very good left to right, slow out and slow in. It should be the body is getting released from one corner and getting caught at the other corner. You want that feel. In your video, there are more added details also. Even if you delete those details, like in first step there is slight slow in slow out and then again slow in slow out. If you remove that small detail, you get just one slow out at this corner and then one slow in at this corner, and a uniform kind of left to right movement in X. Still it will be more believable. Okay, now talking about the final, main fall. Alright, so we were on to the last big fall when it is, trying to, okay, you were mentioning that the legs are, getting into each other. I don't think this should be a big problem. You should try maybe replacing this foot from the side view. We can come to that later, or you can do something with the pointer of this knee, some kind of thing. That is easy. It should be easy to solve this crossing. Difficult to solve is this major mass movement and believable weight shifting and feel of gravity. All these things are bit more difficult to achieve. Okay, when it's on this corner, now it is getting a final fall. Oh, it's playing from beginning. Okay. See, if you watch it, it's better than before. Okay, you look like you have done work on it, but still we are having some kind of floaty feeling from this corner. Let me play. You have tried to put slow out also, still you will be wondering why it is still looking floaty. Okay, let's go frame by frame. This is the extreme. From here, now the character is going to fall from his left towards right. Okay. What we feel is the pelvis is there and is yet to move, even move towards left. It is not even moved. Before that, the foot is very nicely already in place, which is not a good character of a fall. This is not a natural fall. It's on the extreme. It was supposed to slow out and fall. We would like to see a feel of fall, slowing out and falling, and the foot just coming in time to save from falling. But we here see that the pelvis has not even started falling, and very technically, in a perfect manner, the left foot has come and taken the place. See, it looks slightly odd the way it has come here, taken such extreme angle. This almost looks like a balanced position where both the feet are already in charge and he can stand here. After that, falling starts, and rather after that, slow out happens. थोड़ा मजा नहीं आता है. Slightly, there is something not satisfying. We would like to see a slow out. See, there are two kinds of motion. One is from left to right, that means X in your case. We can assume it, to simplify the situation, that from one corner it slows out in X and just take space, becomes fast until it reaches the other end, right? So maybe you can assume that X is just gaining speed, slowing out, getting further speed, and then slowing in here. Maybe you tried something like that. But what is happening is, what is wrong is, first thing we have already mentioned, that here what is happening, the foot is taking the position too early, or maybe the pelvis has started moving too late, that we find it slightly odd that why after placing we see this kind of fall. See, now play it. It's slightly something odd. After placing, it's getting dragged or pulled in some way. This is one point. The other is, okay, the other thing is, After this, the second step, again the foot contributes to the floatiness. We feel some kind of floatiness. We don't understand, the pelvis might be giving a good slow out, still we are getting some floatiness. This left foot is not snapping the way it should. It is his right foot, sorry. It is his right foot. This right foot is not snapping in the second step the way it should. Just play it and see. Stopped. Here. We see kind of floatiness in this foot. And we should be getting a very good slow in, slow out in Y also. That is actually add the spice. That is going to add the weight kind of feel. If it's, sometimes you don't feel even if you are getting good slow out from one corner. The major that illusion and impact of weight will be given by this up and down movement with the right kind of slow in, slow out. So when it's stepping, it should be, kind of falling, heavy feet kind of thing. What I find further is that at this point, when it reaches this point, now again the foot has already kind of overtaken the pelvis. This movement seems slightly unconvincing. After that, the way the pelvis stopped stopped here and started turning towards the camera is slightly unbelievable. And there are jerks while it is falling down. When I restudied your video references, your body is kind of, the pelvis is just coming towards this direction and just falling here. It's taking some kind of this kind of path. Yours is taking some kind of this kind of path. It reaches here, then turns and falls down. But I guess it was, a uniform kind of thing. It's just coming here and just falling down. You just revisit that. It's going, yours is going, reaching at a point and then taking an abrupt turn. So I'm not sure what it is, why it is. We can achieve that also, but if you are starting with a reference in which something else was done, it will be difficult for you, because this is quite possible that it's just falling and falls down. From here it just lands towards this direction. What you are trying to do is it gets a balance here and then again gets imbalanced towards the camera. This one is looking like that, although your video ref is saying something else. You just cross check with that. It's playing from beginning again. And there are jerks kind of thing. You just repaint this path of pelvis. If you get a very satisfactory pelvis movement, you are almost done. So main struggle is in pelvis movement. Right, let's have a quick look from the side view. Okay, let's play from side view. Okay, there are definitely many small things that we are going to correct in it, but at this particular stage, when we have already discussed large bigger things to be improved from the front. The side view doesn't right now need a lot of work. In that respect, side view is almost okay. The major things are those which we discussed from the front. Let me see if some things are to be concern. Some things are of concern at this stage. Just take care of few things that are very visible from this direction. You know, now this guy is trying to fall back. So if you maybe, you know, there is kind of slow in the foot. The foot will just slam down. Maybe on this frame it will be planted, although it is trying to slow in, which is not a very good idea. So on this frame it should be right there on the floor. Again the same thing. When it's trying to reach somewhere, it's a good idea to let the leg stretch to reach there and then squash. It will give a good feel also, and it is more believable also, instead of, you know, the leg getting to the floor in a folded position. It looks like a wood and doesn't give you a chance of good stretch and squash. So when it's going back, maybe on this frame only the leg is already in a way stretched and, you know, reached somewhere, and then we get a squash kind of feel. Yeah. Okay, here was your problem of, you know, interlocking feet. Maybe when it's coming here, if when it gets into each other, you let your his left foot get lifted, so that we get this thing somewhere like this instead of so much bent. Maybe it's something like that, and it's something like lifted like this or something. It should be easy to solve. So the left leg, his left leg is getting into his right leg, na? So just lift maybe here your left leg and try to, you know, get it out of the way. Okay, no, so it is just going like this. There are some slight weight shifting issues, but these are not that big, so I would like to see all the, you know, weight shifting issues solved from the front. That I would enjoy, you know, fine tuning it from this side. I want those corrections first. All right, thank you so much.